This week in the garage, I get creative with some original parts.
That looks pretty sweet.
Some tasty Amazon brackets.
Really good quality.
And some toys for the boys.
What's up, guys, and welcome to this week's episode. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's supported the channel so far, and to any of the new guys joining us, welcome. The plan was to get this Honda Shadow Beast out on the road and get a decent ride in to show you guys, but Canada's unpredictable weather strikes again. It's been absolutely shit all week, guys, and I just haven't been able to get out for a ride. I promise I'll get some ride footage for you soon, and I'll get that on the channel. But now let's get back to the actual build. I'm just about to head over to a mate of mine who's going to help me finish off the taillight for the CB175. But first, I'm going to have to get you guys caught up. Roll the clip.
Alright guys, so after some thought, I really just don't like this rear light. It's just a bit bulky and it just doesn't sit right on the bike for me. So I bought a new one from Amazon for 20 bucks, and the light has kind of a less of a profile, it's less bulky, and I just think it's going to look better overall. But I want to mount it in a way that makes it look a little bit OEM. So what I did is I've taken the old bracket from this massive clunky old light, the original light from the bike, and I've cut the back mount off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this because this connects to the bike from the original holes on the fender, and what I want to do is I'm going to use this as a housing for the new light. So essentially I'm going to get this and mount it like this, so it looks like a smaller version of the original light, really. So I just need to tidy this up because it was a bit of a shitty cut. So I just need to tidy it up with the grinder, and then I'll mount it up and show you guys what it looks like. Let's do it. Alright guys, this is what I'm thinking. This is going to sit nice and flush like this on the bracket. And as you can see, it's connected here to the fender. And the license plate bracket sits nicely just here as well. So basically, this will be a nice little housing. The wiring can basically be hidden underneath here and go through underneath the fender. But I think that looks pretty sweet, if I say so myself. All I gotta do now is weld this essentially together. Okay, so now that the bracket is tidied up, I have two issues. One, I don't have a welding unit here, so I've no MIG welder here. And two, I kind of have to brush up on my welding skills anyway. So this is where my mate Luke is going to come in and give me a hand. So now that you're caught up, guys, let's just get over to Luke's and get this piece welded up. This is Luke, guys. He's kindly volunteered to weld up the bracket for us. But before we do that, let's take a look at some of his bikes.
hours later.
Massive shout out to Luke, guys, for helping me out with that bracket. I think he did an awesome job and it's going to look super cool. But now that I'm back in the garage, it's time to get the front end finished up, and then I'll mount the rear light so you guys can have a look at everything. And as always, I'm going to put a cool montage together. Cool? Yeah, whatever. I'll put a montage together. You guys can check it all out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's jump into this front end. So here's what I've got to finish off the front end, guys. I've got the Jubilee clips. They'll finish off the gaiters. We just need to tighten them around the actual fork itself. I have the flashers, just like we have here on the back. And I am not a fan. I really don't like these. They're just old school, clunky. And it just doesn't look right now that I have the gaiter on. It's just wider here because the original housing around the actual fork was the same width. So I'm going to remove these, the headlight bracket, and we're going to replace it with this one that I actually got from Amazon. So these are actually, I think, about 40 bucks. Really, really, really good quality. So I didn't want to get the real crappy thin ones. I would recommend getting these if you're going to get some headlight brackets. And it also has a section where you can actually add on, which are perfect for the flashers. Now, they are a little bit wider than the forks that I have. So what I've done is I've actually bought some nice thick hard rubber, and I'm going to use these inside so it'll actually be a lot better when you tighten it up, and it'll just tighten up better on the fork itself. So I'm going to cut these to length, and then yeah, pretty much just going to put the forks together now, guys, and then we can get looking at the actual speedometer and how that's going to mount. Let's just jump into the whole process. The fender is back on, the brakes are loosely hooked up, and everything is kind of loosely tightened. I'm not going to fully tighten anything yet until obviously towards the end, but let's get to this headlight, the brackets, the indicators, flashers, whatever you want to call them. Let's get that done so we can get to the speedo. So for the headlight bracket, guys, I've cut the first rubber and inserted it. So I've cut it to size, and it just wraps around nicely inside, so that should hug the fork nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead, cut the other 4 rubbers, and then hopefully we can get these mounted onto the forks. Let's do it. So the brackets are on, guys, and those rubber pieces honestly did an awesome job. And I think it looks pretty cool from the side as well. So I'm gonna get the headlight mounted and the flashers mounted and give you guys a look then. Alright guys, so this is what I'm thinking for the speedometer. I really like how the speedometers, some of them sit kind of out a bit here and down. So I don't really want to have it like sitting up high. It just doesn't look no, it looks terrible. Okay, so I'm thinking down here, and what I'm going to have to do, and what I've had a look at is, so in here there are 2 bolts, so I think I can build a bracket just off of these 2 bolts. Hold on, let me get a light. Okay, so that's a bit better. Yeah, so off of the bolt there and over here, and essentially what they're holding on are the clamp for the handlebars. But I think I can get a bracket underneath, and it'll just be a straight bar bracket going across. And essentially then what we'll be able to do is have that straight bar connected to the bracket that's already on the speedometer. And it'll sit really, really nice round about there. And I think that's just the perfect height for where we need it. We don't really need it, but technically we do. Okay. Yeah. There's just a little bit of work in this, and I think we've run out of time in this video, guys. So I might have to do this next week. I apologize. As promised though, guys, let's take a look at the work that we did get done this week in this beautiful montage. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week, guys. I'm sorry I didn't get the speedometer mounted, but I promise I'll get it done in the next video. We have tons of other jobs to get done as well before this bike is up and running. I hope you enjoyed the video though, guys. Hope you enjoyed meeting Luke and seeing his Honda CB Cafe Racer. Really appreciate you guys watching. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and come back and check out the rest of my content. I promise I got some good videos coming up. Until next time though, guys, as always, sláinte.